It hits you right in the center of your chest. A hot, sharp spike of adrenaline. It travels up your throat, tightens your jaw, and settles behind your eyes. You're shaking, not because you're cold, but because you are vibrating with the desperate, frantic need to correct the record. You are staring at them. Or maybe you're staring at a screen. It doesn't matter. The dynamic is exactly the same. They have just said something that is factually wrong. Or maybe it wasn't wrong. Maybe it was just twisted enough to paint you as the villain. A subtle accusation. A revision of history. A comment about how you always do this, or how you never do that. And the trap snaps shut. You open your mouth. You have to. It feels like survival. If you don't speak right now, if you don't explain exactly why they are wrong, the lie will become the truth. So you start talking. You start listing facts. You pull up old text messages. You reference dates and times. You raise your voice, not because you're angry, but because you need them to understand. You need them to see the reality that is so obvious to you. You are pouring your energy out in a torrent. You are articulate. You are passionate. You are making sense. And they are just watching you. Look at their face. Really look at it. Are they listening? Are they absorbing your well-reasoned defense? Are they having an epiphany about their behavior? No. They are calm. Maybe they look bored. Maybe they're checking their fingernails. Maybe, and this is the one that makes your blood boil, they are smiling that tiny, condescending smile that says, "Look how emotional you are." You are screaming logic at a brick wall, and the brick wall is laughing at you. This is the exact moment you lost. You think you are fighting for your dignity. You think you are asserting yourself. But you aren't. You are performing. You are the puppet on a string, and they just gave it a little tug. Stop. Freeze this frame. Look at yourself in this moment. You are flustered. Your breathing is shallow. Your heart rate is 120 beats per minute. You are sweating. You look unstable. You look chaotic. Now look at them. They are cool, collected, unbothered. In the laws of power, the person who reacts is the person who is submitting. When you react, you are telling the world, and more importantly, telling them, that they have control over your emotional state. They push a button, you explode. They whisper a word, you write a dissertation. They give you silence, you give them noise. You believe that if you just explain it clearly enough, they will validate you. You believe that true authority comes from winning the argument. But you are wrong. True authority is absent from this room because you are too busy reacting to claim it. Think about the last time this happened. Maybe it was a text message. You were having a perfectly fine Tuesday. You were productive. You were peaceful. Then the phone buzzed. You looked down and saw their name. Your stomach dropped before you even read the words. Why? Because your body knows you are a slave to their input. You read the message. It was something small. A passive-aggressive dig about how you forgot to do something you never agreed to do. What did you do? Did you put the phone down? Did you go back to your work? Did you recognize it as bait and step over it? No. You stopped everything. You stopped your life. You sat there for 20 minutes typing out a paragraph. You deleted it. You typed it again, trying to sound calm but firm. You edited the tone so you wouldn't sound crazy. You obsessed over the punctuation. You sent it, and then you stared at the phone, waiting for the 3 dots to appear, your entire mood for the rest of the day held hostage by their response. You handed them your piece on a silver platter. You said, "Here, take my day, take my focus, take my energy. I am not the master of my own domain. You are. This is the uncomfortable truth you have been avoiding. You are not a victim of their words. You are a volunteer in their drama. Every time you react, You are signing a contract that says their opinion of reality is more important than your own. You think you are standing up for yourself. That is the lie you tell yourself to justify the lack of discipline. Standing up for yourself involves action, boundaries, and consequences. What you are doing is pleading. You are begging to be understood by someone who benefits from misunderstanding you. They know this. They know exactly where the buttons are installed. They installed them. They know that if they question your integrity, you will spend 3 hours proving you are honest. They know that if they accuse you of being selfish, you will drain your bank account to prove you are generous. They know that if they act confused, you will exhaust yourself explaining the simple truth. They are utilizing the most ancient form of control, stimulus and response. Like a lab rat in a cage, you are trained. Flash the light, you press the lever. Insult the character, you start the speech. It creates a feedback loop. Your reaction provides them with fuel. It's called narcissistic supply, or simply emotional validation. Even your anger feeds them, especially your anger, because your anger proves that they matter. It proves that they are significant enough to ruin your day. If they were irrelevant to you, you wouldn't be yelling. You wouldn't be crying. You wouldn't be typing that email at 2 a.m. The opposite of love isn't hate. It's indifference. And you are incapable of indifference. You are addicted to the engagement. See, true authority is heavy. It requires you to anchor yourself so deeply in your own reality that nothing can move you. It requires you to look at a storm and not get wet. But you are not a rock. You are a leaf in the wind, blowing whichever direction they decide to exhale. As long as you are reacting, you are a subordinate. You are the employee trying to explain a mistake to the boss. You are the child trying to avoid punishment. You have voluntarily placed yourself in the one-down position. And the worst part? You think the solution is to find the right words to make them stop. You think if you just learn the perfect comeback, or the perfect psychological term, or the perfect boundary phrase, you will win. Wrong. The game is rigged. The only way to win is to stop playing. But you can't stop playing, can you? Because the moment you stop reacting, you have to sit in the silence. And the silence terrifies you. The silence forces you to acknowledge that you have been dancing for an audience that despises you. You need to see the mechanism. You need to see the wires so you can stop tripping over them. This isn't random bad luck. This isn't miscommunication. This is a choreographed dance, and you are following their steps perfectly. Let's look at the misunderstanding bait. You are trying to make plans. Simple logistics. Time, place, date. You send a clear text. Let's meet at 7 o'clock. They reply at 6:45 asking, "Why are you always rushing me?" Pause. Look at your internal reaction. You are baffled. You weren't rushing anyone. You were planning. But what do? Do you ignore the accusation? No. You take the bait. You type back, "I wasn't rushing you. I just wanted to make sure we had time. I'm sorry if it felt that way. I just..." Stop. You just justified yourself. You just explained your existence. You just handed them the high ground. They successfully shifted the conversation from logistics to your character flaws. They made you apologize for being organized. And they sit back, satisfied, knowing they have you on your heels. Now look at the amnesia bait. You are in a serious conversation. You are bringing up something hurtful they did last week. You have the courage to address it. You say, "It hurt me when you ignored me at the party." They look at you with total confusion. A blank stare. "I didn't ignore you. I was talking to everyone. Why are you rewriting history? You always do this." The trap springs. The adrenaline spikes. You know what happened. You were there. But now, instead of discussing their behavior, You are discussing your memory. You are arguing for your sanity. I'm not rewriting history. You walked right past me. You spoke to Dave. You spoke to Sarah. And you looked right through me. You are frantic. You are loud. You are desperate to prove that you are not crazy. And what have you achieved? The original issue, their disrespect, is gone. It has evaporated. The conversation is now entirely about how unstable and paranoid you are. They successfully baited you into a reaction that makes you look like the aggressor. They poked you until you screamed, and then they pointed at you and said, "Look, you're screaming. You're the problem. Let's look at the joke bait. You're in public, maybe with family. Everything is fine." Then they make a comment. It's wrapped in a smile. It's delivered with a chuckle. But it's a dagger. It's a reference to a private failure or a jab at your insecurity. "Oh, you know how he is with money." Everyone laughs. But you don't. You feel the shame burn your face. You react. "That's not fair. I'm fine with money now." They raise their hands in mock surrender. "Whoa, relax. Can't you take a joke? You're so serious all the time. This is why nobody can have fun around you." Checkmate. If you stay silent, you accept the insult. If you speak up, you prove their point that you're too sensitive. It is a double bind. And because you lack true authority, you choose the path of most resistance. You defend yourself against a phantom. You ruin the vibe of the room trying to clear your name, while they look like the cool, easygoing victim of your mood swing. Do you see the pattern yet? It is the acronym of the powerless, JD. Justify, argue, defend, explain. This is your default setting. This is the operating system of a person who does not believe in their own value. When you justify, you are saying, "Please approve of my reasons." When you argue, you are saying, "Please agree with my reality." When you defend, you are saying, "Please don't attack me." When you explain, you are saying, "Please understand me so I can feel safe." Every single one of these actions places the power in their hands. You are the petitioner. You are the one applying for the loan of their validation. True authority never explains itself to people who are committed to misunderstanding. But you do. You explain. You over-explain. You send the wall of text. You know the one. The 3-screen-long message you type out after a fight. The one where you break down point by point exactly why you did what you did, referencing psychology, logic, and fairness. You send it with a trembling finger, hoping this will finally be the one that makes them say, "Oh, I get it now. I'm sorry, but that never happens, does it?" They reply with K, or "I'm not reading all that." Or they pick out one single sentence from your essay, twist it, and use it to start a whole new fight. You are feeding the beast. You are throwing raw steaks into a cage and wondering why the tiger won't become a vegetarian. The pattern is not "they are mean to me." The pattern is they throw a hook and I bite it. Every single time. You are predictable. You are reliable. You are a vending machine of emotional reactions. All they have to do is insert the coin of accusation, and you dispense the product of drama. Why would they stop? It works. It keeps the focus off them. It keeps you unbalanced. It keeps you working for their approval. As long as you are JING, you are a child explaining to a parent why you shouldn't be grounded. You cannot have authority while you are begging to be believed. Authority is silent. Authority knows what happened and doesn't need a witness. But you are terrified of being the only one who knows the truth. So you react. You fight. You scream into the void. And the void smiles back. Here is the hardest pill you will ever have to swallow. You think you are fighting against them. You think that by arguing, by defending your name, By pulling up the receipts, you are engaging in a battle for truth. You believe that if you fight hard enough, you will defeat their lies. But you aren't fighting against them. You are working for them. This is the great betrayal. You are not their enemy. You are their battery. Look at the aftermath of these explosions. Look at how it ends. You are depleted. You are physically exhausted. Your head hurts. You feel hollowed out, like someone reached inside your chest and scraped out your vitality with a spoon. You go to bed feeling heavy, anxious, unable to sleep, replaying the tape over and over. Now look at them. Are they exhausted? Are they drained? No. They seem lighter. They seem energized. They might even be humming around the kitchen 10 minutes later. They sleep like a baby. They wake up refreshed. Why? Because you just carried their emotional baggage for them. They had chaos inside them, boredom, malice, irritation, self-loathing, and they didn't want to hold it. So they poked you. They provoked you. They opened you up and dumped all that toxic waste into your system. And you took it. You absorbed it. You metabolized it. You think you were winning an argument because you had better points. But the goal of the interaction wasn't to establish truth. The goal was to provoke a reaction. If you screamed, they won. If you cried, they won. If you spent 4 hours lecturing them, they won. Because in their world, attention is the only currency that matters. And you just wrote them a blank check. This is what supply actually looks like. It's not just compliments and adoration. It is intensity. It is the knowledge that they can control the puppet. Think about that moment when you finally caught them. You found the proof. You had the text message that proved they were lying. You slammed it on the table. You thought, gotcha. Now you have to admit it. And what happened? Did they crumble? Did they say, you got me, I surrender? No. They smirked. Or they flew into a rage about how you found the message. Or they laughed at how obsessed you are. They didn't care about the lie. They cared that you cared. They loved watching you play detective. They loved watching you spin your wheels. The fact that you spent hours digging for proof made them feel important. Look how much effort this person exerts for me. I must be a god. You are feeding the monster you claim to hate. Every time you react, you are validating their false reality. You are saying, your opinion of me is so powerful, so critical to my survival, that I will destroy my own peace to change it. True authority does not negotiate with terrorists. And make no mistake, this is emotional terrorism. They are holding your peace hostage, demanding a ransom of attention. And you pay it. Every single time. You pay it because you have bought into the illusion that a resolution is possible. You think this is a conflict between two rational people trying to solve a problem. It is not. It is a game of tag. And you are it. You are chasing them, trying to tag them with logic or empathy. And they are running away, laughing, knocking over vases, setting fires, enjoying the chase. They don't want to be tagged. They want you to keep running. They want you breathless. They want you desperate. As long as you are chasing, they are in control. Realize this. You are not a victim of their manipulation. You are a participant in it. That hurts to hear. I know. It feels unfair. You didn't start the fight. You didn't tell the lie. You didn't make the snide comment. But you picked up the rope. They threw the rope of conflict at your feet. You could have stepped over it. You could have walked away. You could have looked at it and said, I'm not picking that up. But you grabbed it with both hands and started pulling. You pulled. With all your might, trying to drag them into the light of reason. And the harder you pulled, the more secure they felt. Because as long as you are holding the rope, you are attached to them. You are tethered. True authority is dropping the rope. It is the terrifying realization that you cannot force them to see you. You cannot force them to respect you. You cannot force them to be reality-based. And because you cannot force them, your only power lies in removing your participation. But you don't want to do that, because dropping the rope feels like giving up. It feels like letting them get away with it. Your ego screams, if I don't respond, they'll think they're right. Let them think they're right. Let them be wrong in the privacy of their own delusion. Why do you need to be the auditor of their reality? Why is it your job to correct the record? It's not. It's your addiction. You are addicted to the struggle. You are addicted to the high of almost getting through to them. But you never get through. You just get used. You are a high-performance sports car engine, and you are hooked up to a rusted-out lawnmower. You are revving your engine, redlining your RPMs, burning your fuel, overheating your system, and you are going nowhere. You are just shaking the garage apart. Stop the engine. The silence that follows will be deafening. It will feel wrong. It will feel like death. But that silence is the only place where your authority lives. There is a law in physics, and there is a law in psychology. They are identical. The law of least effort. In any system of power, the person who exerts the least effort holds the most control. Think about a king on a throne. Does he run around the room screaming? Does he explain his decrees to the peasants? Does he write 10-page letters justifying his taxes? No. He lifts a finger. He speaks once. He whispers. Now look at the jester. The jester is frantic. He is jumping, tumbling, yelling, sweating, trying to get a reaction. He is expending massive amounts of energy. Who has the power? You are the jester. You are sweating. You are tumbling. You are doing backflips of logic trying to get the king or the tyrant to smile or to agree or to just stop looking at you with that blank stare. The person who cares less wins. Always. This is not fair. This is mechanics. The person who is willing to walk away. The person who doesn't need the other's validation. The person who can sit in silence without fidgeting. That is the person who holds the gravity in the room. You have been operating under the false belief that effort equals love or effort equals truth. You think if you try harder, you will be rewarded. In the realm of dark psychology, effort creates a vacuum. When you lean in, they lean back. When you chase, they run. When you shout, they whisper. They are balancing the equation. By overfunctioning, you force them to underfunction. By being the one who cares too much, you allow them the luxury of not caring at all. You are doing the emotional work for two people. This brings us to the concept of the void. Manipulators, narcissists, and power-hungry people are terrified of the void. They are empty inside. They have no self-generated supply. They need your energy to feel alive. When you react, you fill the void. Your noise, your explanations, your tears, it's all filler. It distracts them from their own emptiness. But when you stop, when you offer them nothing but silence, you force them to sit in their own nothingness. Silence is not passive. Silence is violent. Silence is a mirror. When they insult you and you say nothing, when you just look at them, blink once, and go back to eating your dinner, you are holding up a mirror. You are refusing to absorb the insult. So where does the insult go? It bounces off you and lands right back in their lap. They have to sit with what they just said. They have to hear the echo of their own cruelty ringing in the quiet room. And that drives them insane. Have you ever noticed that when you stop arguing and just go quiet, they escalate? They start poking harder. They say more outrageous things. They might even accuse you of giving them the silent treatment, which is projection, by the way. Why do they do this? Because they are starving. They are trying to get the juice flowing again. They are shaking the vending machine because the snacks stopped falling out. Why aren't you saying anything? Oh, so you're just going to ignore me? You think you're better than me? They are begging for the reaction. They are begging for you to come back down into the mud and wrestle. And this is where you usually break. The pressure of the silence becomes too much for you. You feel mean. You feel cold. You think, I should just answer them to smooth things over. Do not do it. That discomfort you feel, that is the feeling of your power returning. It feels heavy because you aren't used to carrying it. You are used to giving it away. You are used to being a sieve, letting your energy pour out. Now you are becoming a vessel. You are holding it in. True authority comes from the capacity to tolerate tension. Can you sit in a room where someone is angry at you and not try to fix it? Can you let a lie hang in the air without correcting it? Can you be misunderstood without explaining yourself? If you can, you are invincible. If you can't, you are a slave. The manipulator knows this. They rely on your inability to tolerate tension. They create the tension, the awkward silence, the accusation, the threat, knowing that you will rush to relieve it. You will apologize. You will explain. You will fix it. Stop fixing the tension. Let the tension grow. Let it fill the room. Let it become so thick you can choke on it. You will see something amazing happen. When you refuse to break the tension, they will eventually break. They will backtrack. They will change the subject. They will try to make a joke. They will do anything to escape the pressure of their own reflected behavior. Or they will leave. And either way, you win. You win not because you fought, but because you refused to fight. You became the rock. The waves crash against the rock, and the rock does not argue with the ocean. The rock just is. Be the rock. Be the void. Be the person who does the least, and therefore controls the most. Why can't you shut up? I'm asking you seriously. Why is it physically impossible for you to let an accusation slide? Why does your skin crawl when someone has the wrong idea about you? This isn't just about them. This is about you. This is about your addiction to being understood. We need to go back, way back, before you met this person, before you had this job, before you were an adult. Somewhere in your timeline, you learned a dangerous equation. Being understood equals safety. Maybe you had a parent who was volatile. One minute they were loving, the next they were screaming. To survive, you had to explain yourself constantly. I didn't mean to break the glass. I wasn't trying to be bad. You learned that if you could just find the right words, if you could just make them see your good intentions, the punishment would stop. The yelling would stop. The love would return. You trained yourself to be a relentless explainer. You became a lawyer for your own existence. Fast forward to today. You are sitting across from a grown adult, a partner, a boss, a friend, who is triggering that exact same childhood panic. When they misunderstand you, your brain doesn't see annoying conversation. Your brain sees threat level midnight. Your amygdala fires. You revert to being that 6-year-old child pleading for mercy. But I didn't mean it like that. You're taking it the wrong way. Let me explain. You are trying to regulate their emotions to make yourself feel safe. If they are angry, you are unsafe. If they think you're bad, you are unsafe. So you work feverishly to change their mind, not because you care about the truth, but because you need to lower the temperature in the room so you can breathe again. This is the shadow truth. Your over-explaining is a selfish act. You aren't doing it for them. You are doing it to soothe your own anxiety. You are using words as a pacifier, and the person across from you feels it. They feel your desperation. They smell the fear on you, and it repels them. There is nothing less attractive, nothing less commanding, than a person begging to be understood. It signals weakness. It signals that you do not have a strong internal compass. It signals that your self-image is entirely dependent on their external validation. If you know you are a good person, why do you need them to sign a document agreeing with you? If you know you didn't lie, why are you spending 3 hours proving it? Because you don't actually know. Deep down, there is a crack in your foundation. A part of you suspects that maybe, just maybe, they are right. Maybe you are selfish. Maybe you are crazy. Maybe you are too much. So you fight. You fight to convince them, hoping that if you can convince them, you can finally convince yourself. They are holding the mirror of your own insecurity. When they call you selfish, it hurts because you are terrified of being selfish. When they call you stupid, it hurts because you are terrified of being unintelligent. If they called you a green alien from Mars, you wouldn't write a 3-page letter defending your humanity. You would laugh. You would think they were insane. You wouldn't react because you know you aren't an alien. There is no hook for that bait to catch on. The bait only works when it hooks into a wound that already exists. You are addicted to being understood because you are using their understanding as a substitute for your own self-acceptance. You want them to be the good parent who finally says, "Oh, I see you. You're good. You're safe. I love you." But they are not your parent. And they are certainly not a good parent. They are an emotional predator, or at best, an emotionally immature adult. They are incapable of giving you the validation you crave. You are going to the hardware store asking for milk. You are screaming at the clerk, "Why won't you sell me milk?" You are explaining why you need milk. You are crying about the milk. But they only sell hammers. And every time you beg for milk, they hit you with a hammer. And yet, you go back tomorrow. Maybe if I explain it better this time. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. You are insane with the need to be seen. True authority begins the moment you accept that being misunderstood is a survivable event. You will not die if they think you are a liar. You will not die if they think you are cold. You will not die if they tell everyone you are the villain. It will feel uncomfortable. It will itch. It will burn. But you will not die. You must break the link between their approval and your safety. You are safe because you are an adult. You have resources. You have agency. You can walk away. You don't need them to understand you. You need you to understand you. Stop outsourcing your identity to the people who are trying to destroy it. Let's talk about the paradox of defense. There is a mechanism in the human brain and in the court of public opinion that works against you every time you open your mouth to defend yourself. It's called the Streisand effect, but applied to your character. The more you try to hide or deny something, the more attention you draw to it. But in interpersonal dynamics, it goes deeper. It's the guilty dog bark. Imagine you walk past a house and a dog starts barking frantically at the fence, snarling, snapping, throwing itself against the wood. What do you think? You think that dog is dangerous. You think that dog is unstable. Now imagine you walk past a house and a dog is sitting on the porch. It watches you. It tracks your movement. It doesn't bark. It doesn't move. It just stares. Which dog commands respect? Which dog are you careful around? The silent one. When you defend yourself, you are the barking dog. You are signaling threat, but you are also signaling fear. You are signaling that you are easily disturbed. Here is the rule. Innocence is calm. If someone accused you of murdering your neighbor and you didn't do it, how would you react? You would be confused. You would be shocked. You would say, "What? No, that's crazy." You would be calm because the truth is on your side. But if you did do it, or if you were terrified of being framed, you would be sweating. You would be talking a mile a minute. I was at the movies. Check the cameras. Ask my mom. I couldn't have done it. The more you defend, the more guilty you look. When you launch into a passionate defense against a narcissist's accusation, you are signaling to their primitive brain and to anyone watching that the accusation landed. You are signaling that it has merit. Thou doth protest too much. If they call you a liar and you spend 20 minutes proving your honesty, you have just associated you and liar in the conversation for 20 minutes. You have cemented the frame. You think you are washing the mud off, but you are just rolling around in it. This is why political smear campaigns work. It doesn't matter if the accusation is false. If the candidate spends all their time denying the scandal, they are talking about the scandal. They aren't talking about policy. They aren't talking about their vision. They are stuck in the frame of the accusation. The manipulator puts you in a box labeled bad person. You spend the next hour trying to break out of the box. But as long as you are fighting the box, you are in the box. True authority is stepping outside the box. It is refusing to acknowledge the premise of the argument. It looks like this. Them, you're so selfish. You never think about anyone but yourself. The weak defense, you that is not. True. I cooked dinner last night. I picked up your dry cleaning. I listened to you complain about work for 2 hours. How can you say that? Result. You are now debating your selfishness. They can now counter with, yeah, but you only did those things to look good. You are trapped. The authority move, you silence. A long pause. You look them in the eye. You're allowed to think that. And you go back to what you were doing. Result. You have refused the frame. You haven't accepted the label, but you haven't fought it either. You have treated their opinion as just that, an opinion, one that is irrelevant to you. This is devastating to them. You didn't bark. You didn't bite. You just watched them. You deprived them of the conflict they needed to obscure the truth. See, when you defend yourself, you create a cloud of dust. In that dust, the original issue gets lost. If they did something wrong and you react to their deflection, the conversation becomes about your reaction. The dust cloud covers their crime. By refusing to defend, you let the dust settle. And when the dust settles, their behavior is the only thing left visible in the room. Don't give them the cover of your defense. Let them stand naked in their own absurdity. If they make a ridiculous accusation, treat it as ridiculous. Not by arguing, but by not dignifying it with a response. If a toddler told you that you were a poopy head, would you sit them down and explain your hygiene habits? No, you would ignore it. Because it's a toddler. Start treating these adults like toddlers. Because emotionally, that is what they are. They are throwing a tantrum to get a reaction. When you defend, you elevate them to your level. You are saying, your opinion is valid enough to require a rebuttal. Don't validate the invalid. Your character speaks for itself. Your actions speak for themselves. If you have to verbally defend your character to someone who has known you for years, the relationship is already over. They have already decided who you are. Your words will not change their mind. Your silence might not change their mind either, but it will save your dignity. Stop trying to prove you are good. Be good, and let the people who can't see it blind themselves. The moment you stop defending is the moment you become untouchable. You become the Teflon surface. Nothing sticks because you don't grab onto it. Let it slide. Let it drop. Let them be wrong. There is a profound arrogance in true authority. It is the arrogance of knowing who you are so completely that no external voice can shake it. Develop that arrogance. You need it. This is the tactical implementation of your authority. We have talked about the why. Now we talk about the how. Because in the heat of the moment, philosophy flies out the window. When the insult lands, your body takes over. Your pulse races. Your mouth opens. You suffer from akrasia. It is an ancient Greek word. It means weakness of will. It is the state of acting against your better judgment. You know you shouldn't argue. You know it's a trap. But you do it anyway because the impulse is stronger than the discipline. You need a wedge. You need a physical tool to jam into the gears of your automatic reaction. That tool is the pause. This is not just waiting. This is a weaponized silence. It is an active, aggressive disruption of their rhythm. Think of a tennis match. They serve the ball, a hard, fast insult. They are bouncing on their toes, racket ready, waiting for you to hit it back. They are ready for the volley. They have rehearsed the volley. And you catch the ball. You catch it in your hand. You hold it. You look at it. You don't hit it back. The game stops. The rhythm breaks. They stumble. They stop bouncing. They look at you, confused. Aren't you going to hit it back? By refusing to return the serve instantly, you destroy their momentum. Here is the drill. The next time they bait you, you are going to do something that feels physically painful. You are going to shut your mouth and count to 5. Slowly. 1. The urge to speak is burning your throat. You want to correct them. 2. You look them dead in the eyes. You do not look down. Looking down is submission. Looking away is avoidance. You look at them. 3. The silence is getting loud. The air in the room is getting heavy. You can see a flicker of doubt in their eyes. 4. They might twitch. They might open their mouth to speak again because the silence is making them anxious. 5. You are now in control. In those 5 seconds, the power dynamic has completely inverted. Before the pause, they were the actor and you were the reactor. After the pause, you are the judge and they are the defendant. You are silently evaluating what they just said. You are looking at it like a specimen in a jar. You aren't hurt. You are curious. You are unimpressed. And when you finally speak, you do not defend. You do not explain. You ask a question, or you give a non-answer. Then, you're just like your mother. You're impossible to deal with. The pause. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I heard you. And then you go back to what you were doing. Or, do you feel better saying that? Or the nuclear option. You say nothing. You just hold the eye contact for 1 more second. Then turn your attention to your phone/book/work. Do you understand what you just did? You rejected the gift. They handed you a bag of poison, and you didn't take it. You left them holding the bag. Now they have to carry it. They have to deal with the awkwardness of having insulted someone who didn't care. This creates a vacuum of validation. They wanted you to validate their anger by getting angry back. You didn't give it to them. Now, watch them scramble. Often, in the silence of the pause, they will start to backtrack. They will start to negotiate with themselves. I mean, I'm not saying you're always like that, but sometimes. I'm just stressed, okay? Why are you looking at me like that? They are filling the void you created. They are telling on themselves. The pause forces them to hear their own words echo. When you snap back instantly, your voice covers theirs. When you are silent, their voice hangs in the air. It sounds shrill. It sounds petty. It sounds crazy. And they hear it. You are using time as a shield. The person who controls the tempo controls the interaction. If you rush to answer, you are on their time. If you wait, you force them onto your time. I'll think about that. I'm not going to answer that right now. Let's talk about this later. These are power moves. They say, I am not a slave to your urgency. Your emergency is not my emergency. But be warned, the first time you do this, it will feel wrong. Your heart will hammer against your ribs. You will feel like you are doing something dangerous. That is your conditioning screaming. That is the good child inside you, terrified of disobeying the authority figure. Let it scream. The discomfort you feel is the sensation of the umbilical cord being cut. You are severing the emotional link that allows them to feed off you. Hold the silence until it hurts. Then hold it a second longer. That extra second is where your freedom lives. In that second, you realize, I don't have to say anything. And once you realize that, you become dangerous. You become a mystery. You become a puzzle they can't solve. They can predict your anger. They can predict your tears. They cannot predict your silence. Silence is the only thing they cannot manipulate, because you cannot twist words that were never spoken. You are a sponge. That is your problem. You think you are an empath. You think you are sensitive. But in this dynamic, you are just a sponge. You are absorbent. You walk into a room feeling fine, feeling light, feeling happy. Then you see them. Maybe they don't even say anything. Maybe it's just the way they slam a cupboard, or the way they sigh, or the heavy, dark cloud that seems to radiate off their skin. And instantly, within seconds, your mood changes. Your stomach tightens. Your happiness evaporates. You feel a heavy, anxious dread settling in your chest. You didn't generate that feeling. You caught it. This is emotional contagion, and you are infected. They are a chaotic, unregulated nuclear reactor. They are churning with internal misery, shame, boredom, anger, self-loathing. But they don't have the emotional maturity to process these feelings. They can't sit with them. It hurts too much. So they export them. They project this waste outward. They dump it into the environment. And because you have no skin, because you have no emotional barrier, you soak it all up. You become the vessel for their chaos. Have you ever noticed that after a big fight, they often feel better? They seem lighter. They might even be cheerful. Meanwhile, you are wrecked. You are shaking. You are crying. You are exhausted for 3 days. Why? Because the transfer was successful. They successfully vomited their toxicity into you. They don't feel the anger anymore because you are feeling it for them. You are carrying the load. You are the emotional mule. You think you are helping. You think you are being a supportive partner or friend by sharing the burden. Wrong. You are being a trash can. And the worst part? You have trained yourself to monitor their emotional state like a hawk. You are hypervigilant. You scan their face for micro-expressions. Are they mad? Are they okay? Did I do something? You believe that if you can just manage their emotions, you will be safe. If you can just cheer them up, or calm them down, or fix their problem, then the heavy feeling in your chest will go away. You are a thermostat that is wired to their temperature. If they get hot, you run the AC. If they get cold, you turn on the heat. You are working overtime to regulate a system that isn't yours. This is slavery. True authority requires you to build a wall. A glass wall. Imagine. You are in a submarine. You are deep underwater. Outside the window, the ocean is crushing. The pressure is immense. The water is freezing and dark. But inside, the air is warm. The pressure is normal. You can see the water. You can see the sharks. You can see the storm. But you are not wet. You need to get in the submarine. When they start their chaos, when they start yelling or sighing or giving you the silent treatment, you must visualize that glass wall. You must say to yourself, this is not mine. Repeat it. This is not mine. That anger? Not yours. That confusion? Not yours. That misery? Not yours. Observe it. Look at it with clinical detachment. Wow, look at how angry they are. That looks exhausting. But do not open the hatch. Do not let the water in. This is incredibly difficult because you are used to merging. You are used to the idea that we are happy or we are sad. You don't know where you end and they begin. Enmeshment feels like love to you, but it is actually a lack of self. You need to cultivate emotional separateness. You can be happy while they are miserable. You can be calm while they are frantic. You can be secure while they are jealous. This feels illegal to you. It feels like a betrayal. How can I be happy when they are suffering? Because their suffering is a choice. Their suffering is a weapon. And your misery does not help them. It only drains you. When you stop absorbing their emotions, two things happen. First, you keep your energy. You stop feeling like a zombie. You have focus for your own life. Second, they are forced to keep their own garbage. When they throw the bag of emotional waste at you, and you don't catch it, it hits the floor. It stays at their feet. They have to step in it. They have to smell it. They have to deal with it. This will make them angry. They will try harder to make you feel it. They might say, "You don't even care? You're so cold." They are trying to crack the glass. They are trying to smash a hole in your submarine so the water rushes in. Don't let them. Smile. Nod. Say, "I'm sorry you're having a hard time." But keep your internal hatch locked. You are not the regulator of their universe. You are the captain of your own vessel. Let them storm. Let them thunder. You are watching the Weather Channel, not standing in the ring. Let's turn the lights on. We have spent 8 acts dissecting them. We have analyzed their manipulation, their baits, their void, their fragile ego. It is very satisfying to look at them under the microscope. It feels good to label them the villain. But now we have to look at the one person in the room we haven't analyzed yet. You. You say you hate the drama. You say you want peace. You say you just want them to act like a normal human being. You tell your friends, "I don't know why they keep doing this to me." I don't believe you. If you truly wanted peace, you would have had it by now. You would have walked away. You would have gone no contact. Or, at the very least, you would have stopped taking the bait. But you haven't. You are still there. You are still arguing. You are still explaining. Here is the truth that will make you want to turn this off. There is a part of you that loves this. I'm not saying you enjoy the pain. I'm not saying you enjoy the abuse. I'm saying you are addicted to the indignation. There is a powerful chemical high that comes from being the good one. When they act crazy, you get to feel sane. When they are cruel, you get to feel kind. When they are irrational, you get to feel logical. Every time they attack you, they confirm your identity as the long-suffering saint. You get to climb up on your cross and look down at them. You get to tell yourself, "Look how much I endure. Look how hard I try. I am a good person." Their badness is the fuel for your goodness. Without them, who are you? If you didn't have this constant battle to fight, what would you do with your day? What would you do with your energy? You are using their chaos to distract yourself from your own void. It is easier to obsess over their flaws than to fix your own life. It is easier to analyze their childhood trauma than to confront your own stagnation. As long as you are locked in combat with them, you have a purpose. Your purpose is survive the narcissist or fix the relationship. It gives you a mission. It gives you an enemy. It gives your life narrative tension. If you stopped reacting, if you truly detached, you would be left with silence. And in that silence, you might have to face the fact that you aren't where you want to be in life. You might have to face your own boredom, your own fears, your own mediocrity. You are using them as a shield. You are hiding behind their toxicity so you don't have to step into your own power. I can't start my business. My husband is too controlling. I can't be happy. My mother is too critical. You have handed them the keys to your potential and said, "Here, lock me up. Then I don't have to try." You are complicit. You are not just a victim of their behavior. You are an enabler of the dynamic. Every time you dance with them, you are voting for the dance to continue. You have to confront your own lack of discipline. You think you are provoked, but really, you are just weak. You have no emotional brakes. You feel an impulse, and you act on it. You are just as reactive, just as volatile, just as chaotic as they are. You just express it differently. They scream, you plead. They attack, you defend. But it's the same energy. It's the same lack of self-control. True authority requires you to kill the part of you that enjoys being the victim. You have to give up the high of self-righteousness. You have to give up the story that you are this sane martyr dealing with a monster. You have to accept that you are a grown adult who is voluntarily standing in a fire and complaining that it's hot. Move. Step out of the fire. But you know what that means? It means you can't complain anymore. It means you can't call your friends and tell them the latest crazy thing they did. It means you lose the sympathy of the audience. It means you have to be responsible for your own happiness. And that is terrifying. Because if you are free and you are still unhappy, you have no one left to blame. This is the crossroads. You can keep playing the game. You can keep getting your hit of dopamine every time you fight. You can keep being the good victim. Or you can be free. But you cannot be both. You have to decide what you love more, your story of suffering or your actual peace. Right now, your actions say you love the suffering. Prove me wrong. Here is your future. I want you to close your eyes and picture yourself 10 years from now. You are 10 years older. You have more gray hair. You are more tired. And you are having the exact same argument. You are sitting in the same kitchen or the same office, crying the same tears, shouting the same defenses, feeling the same burning injustice in your throat. You have explained yourself 5,000 more times. You have sent 10,000 more paragraphs. You have lost a decade of your life trying to win a game that was rigged from the start. This is option A. Option A is the path of least resistance. It is the path you are on right now. It requires nothing from you but compliance. You just keep doing what you're doing. Keep taking the bait. Keep hoping they change. Keep feeding the machine with your life force until you are a hollow shell, a bitter ghost whispering, "I tried so hard." It is a slow death. It is the death of your potential, suffocated by the daily drama of someone else's dysfunction. Is that what you want? Does that image make you sick? Good. Let the nausea motivate you. Now, look at option B. Option B is the path of the unmovable object. Option B requires you to kill the reactor inside you. It requires you to become something that feels unnatural at first, cold, detached, boring. Yes, boring. You need to become the most boring person in the world to them. When they accuse you of being crazy, you say, "Okay." When they threaten to leave, you say, "I understand." When they try to rewrite history, you say, "I remember it differently." And you stop talking. You do not offer up your emotions as entertainment. You do not offer up your defense as ammunition. You become a gray rock. You become a wall. And do you know what happens when you become a wall? They stop banging their head against you. Because it hurts them to hit a wall. It doesn't hurt the wall. This is the birth of true authority. Authority is not about controlling them. You can never control them. Authority is about controlling yourself. It is the discipline to keep your mouth shut when every nerve in your body wants to scream. It is the discipline to keep your phone in your pocket when you want to send the angry text. It is the discipline to walk away when the conversation becomes circular. This is the standard you must set for yourself starting today. If it costs you your peace, it is too expensive. No more discounts. No more bargaining. From this moment forward, you are under new management. The you that needed to be liked is fired. The you that needed to be understood is fired. The new you has a simple policy. I do not engage with distortion. If you distort reality, I am out. If you raise your voice, I am out. If you bait me, I am silent. You are training them. You are teaching them that the old buttons don't work anymore. The wiring has been cut. They can press the button all they want. No sound comes out. And be prepared, they will hate this. They will call you arrogant. They will call you unfeeling. They will try to ramp up the chaos to get the old you back. They will miss the puppet. Let them miss it. The puppet is dead. You are standing in the wreckage of your old dynamic. It is scary, but look around. The air is clearer here. The noise is gone. You have your energy back. You can use that energy to build a life that is actually yours. A life where your worth isn't up for debate. A life where you don't have to apologize for existing. But you have to make the choice. You have to choose it every single time the phone rings. You have to choose it every time they walk into the room. It is a binary choice. Reaction is slavery. Silence is freedom. Which one are you going to choose? The next time they throw the hook, look at it. See the barb. See the line. And for the first time in your life, keep your hands in your pockets. Watch the hook float by and feel the massive, heavy, terrifying power of doing absolutely nothing. That is where your life begins. The show is over. Stop performing.